And we're live. First topic is from Gabby on dedupe. What's new?
Yeah, so actually multiple issues. The first one is the issue I brought up last week is how to dedupe versioning. I have a PR in which I'm considering every version to be a standalone object and a possible source or target for dedupe. The question is, can I trust version object to be long-lived? Should I maybe filter out some version object if they are marked to be removed in the next 24 hours or so? And the PR number is I'm I
I
mean the
know that
PR is on the pad, but I'm just putting it here again.
we discussed with Matt last week, I think, and he expressed a preference that lifecycle wasn't involved in that.
So simply treat them like any other standalone object. Matt is saying something. Okay, so in that case, I have a PR ready and I need somebody to review it. The PR is fairly small, maybe not even 50 lines of code change, but there is another 200 lines of Python code to do versioning test. So I will put it for testing. And another PR I got, and that's a much bigger one, that's the one for split head. As I explained in the past, dedupe always dedupe can only touch tail object, which are the ones we have a reference count. We cannot eliminate the head object because the head object holds all the attribute, and that's what the user see. So if the object is less, sorry, another issue is that in many cases, we use an optimization that the head object encapsulate the first data chunk up to 4 MB. So say you have a 4 MB object and you have two identical objects. At the moment, it's impossible to dedupe them because we must maintain the head. With this PR, I'm reading the data from the head object and copying it into a new shadow tail object I'm generating. Then I truncate the head object and massage the manifest. So it now points to the new tail object. And then I can dedupe the full data. So if this change, I can dedupe data. At the moment, I'm setting this to 64 KB, but it's a config option. So we could dedupe object as small as 8 kilobyte or 4 kilobyte even. In this PR, I'm doing manifest manipulation, and I don't know who can review this code. I'm fairly comfortable with the code, but everybody I approach said they don't understand the manifest, so they cannot review it. Is anybody here can maybe volunteer? That one is a fairly large PR. The PR, it's 2,600 lines of code. About 1,000 of them are Python tests, but there's like 1,600 lines of code inside RGW domain. The good thing is that out of those 1,600 lines of code, there are maybe like 5 or 6 lines outside the dedupe code. So if you don't touch dedupe, this code would never execute. So it's a big one to review, but the risk is only to the dedupe code. And I'm looking for volunteers. Actually, when I say volunteer, I think, Casey, you are the only one which people seems to think understands the manifest code.
I mean, I've touched it a couple of times, but I wouldn't say that I'm confident that I know all of the relevant aspects of it. Um, in cases like this, I kind of feel like we would just need to do a lot of testing to make sure that objects modified by dedupe still support all of the S3 features. Is there some way that we could set up testing of that nature?
So I do have a lot of my own testing, but my testing are limited to read, write, and such. I don't do anything with like zoning, I don't know, any crazy stuff that exists. I don't know how to do. And to make it easier, I'm happy to sit with anybody willing to review and explain what I'm doing in high level. I can explain the manifest code, which I think I understand it. So I can explain how my understanding of the manifest code and why my changes or my manipulations are valid. And I can go over the code and explain. I realize it's a large fix. So anybody willing to do the review, I can spend as much time as needed with them online and help get the review going. So that's this. I also asked Yuda, which is, I know Yuda is the expert on manifest, and he helped me when I wrote the code. But now he's out of the company. He said he will try and do that, but that was like a week ago, and he did some very short review and then stopped. I know it doesn't work for IBM anymore, so I don't know what else to do.
Matt just said he would help. It doesn't look like his mic is working.
Let me see it.
It's in the chat.
More than one person should. Oh,
Yep.
okay. You can see now.
My team also looked at this code too. It's not going to work if the object's encrypted, right? Or
Sorry, I didn't get the question.
if we use SSE to encrypt the object, it won't get deduped, right?
At the moment, encrypted and compressed objects are not targeted for dedupe.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We're looking at moving to encryption. So we also looked at this dedupe code in the 18 and in the 20 branch, but we might take a look at it as well. So if Matt's going to look at it, someone from my team might look at it too.
And far future, we might be able to dedupe encrypted if it's server-side encryption. Client-side encryption, of course, we cannot do. But server-side, we might be able to do in the future, but that's long time in the future.
Well, I mean, if it's client-side encrypted and they're uploading two objects encrypted with the same key, then presumably the data would be the same and you could dedupe.
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't know. It depends when they calculate the hash. Sorry, make it. If everything encrypted by the client is using the same key, then fine. But if the client is mixing multiple keys or whatever, then I won't be able to find it. But if everything was encrypted using the same key, yeah, then it's fine by me. And I think now if it's client-side encryption, I don't even know that it's encrypted. I'm just not going to find it. Sorry, I mean, if the data is the same, then it's going to be deduped. But otherwise, I wouldn't know that it's encrypted if it's client-side.
Okay, yeah, I think we're looking at server side as well on our end. So if that support eventually comes in, there would be an interest in my team to look at this.
So once I'm getting in encryption, but again, that might be next year, and I don't know when, then I will approach you before doing anything there.
Okay. I'll ask someone in my team to take a look as well. It's pretty much all I can kind of promise.
And again, anybody willing to take on this review, I'd be more than happy to sit with them as much time as needed to explain the code, to do code walkthrough, so they don't need to read very large PR and try to figure what I'm doing there.
All right, thanks, Gabby. Continuing on with the subject of server-side encryption, Boris raised the topic of copy support, which is still stalled. Do we have Marcus on the call? Doesn't look like it. So I will point out again that Sina has his own PR implementing this in a design that I prefer over Marcus's. So we have the option to do that. We decided not to last time that we talked about that, but that was several months ago. All right, sounds like Marcus is joining. Sina, do you know what the latest status is of your PR? Have you run it against the latest S3 test branch?
Not for a while, but last time I did, it was okay. So the whole branch, the whole test was being tested with, and it was passing. So I mean, I can rebase now because it was it was stalled for a while, and then I can try to rerun it again if there's an interest still in it.
All right, we've got Marcus. Hey, Marcus. There's a lot of interest in your SSE copy object feature.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I got tied up with some other matters. I believe someone found a couple of more attributes that wasn't updating correctly, and as soon as I can certainly make a pass at that, probably starting Monday or something like that. That's everything I know.
Okay. So I'm also exploring the alternative of trying to just get Sina's PR merged, assuming that it passes all of the test cases, so that we don't need to black on you. Would you object to that?
Well, I'm not happy with it, but I guess it's not my call. CNIS does have the advantages of it's going to pass CNIS tests, so I don't think that would be a surprise.
The tests are actually like a matrix between like all possibilities that we could probably imagine between every type of encryptions. But if you think that something is missing, we probably can start covering that.
I would be
mean,
very surprised if there's something missing in your test, because you would have been keeping that in mind while you were coding.
what, for example?
You would have. If you're the developer writing the tests for your own things, it's very likely that your tests are going to cover all the cases that you thought about as a developer.
That's true. Yes,
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
that's fair. But I mean, from E to E test point of view, and because S3 test is kind of like the client point of view of dealing with the API. So I try to cover all possibilities of, just look at it as a matrix again, like, we have combinations to do, like from this type to that type, from unencrypted to encrypted, all types, all object sizes, compression, decompression, decompression, whatever. So kind of like I couldn't find anything else to cover, but I mean, if you have anything in mind, we probably can add it up, but if not, I'm out of ideas.
All I can tell you is the experience I had with my set of patches is that as time went on, people found new things to do that uncovered problems. So copy the multi-sync was one of the cases. I don't even remember what all the cases were at this point, but I just know that things kept showing up.
But do we have validating tests, discrete tests for all of those things, or do we have sort of broader workflows? I mean, it sounds like we do. We at least know, okay, we need to validate for multi-site. We could also throw our downstream key at it, try to cover those things, or to write more tests. I mean,
for the multi-site, I can add that it's the case for SSE S3 is not working as expected. But as we discussed before, I also have a PR that covers that, but we wanted to take it into two different phases. One, we fix the single site deployment for copying, and then we take the multi-site to also to be fixed. So maybe
Really?
we should only focus on single site deployment for this particular issue.
I don't know. I think I would try to solve them all because
Both of them are I've submitted a PR to cover both
I mean,
cases.
one of the reasons that my changes never merged is because people always wanted something more. And I mean, if they'd been accepted in stages, they could have gone in a long time ago. So no, I completely support doing things in stages, but
it should be an irrelevant change, to be honest. I mean, it's two particular places of the codes that needs to be altered. None depends on each other for multi-site versus single site. I mean, at least my PR, if you look at both of them, they don't have any collision. So we can take them together. We can take them separately. It should be just trivial.
Zena, this multi-site PR you're talking about, is that the one that re-encrypts objects
Yes.
from multi-site? Yes. Okay, and that's not covered by Marcus's PR either, right?
No, because as we discussed again before, it was a different place of the code actually that was doing this synchronous object. It was fetch from remote object function that it was a different place to cover.
Are they believe, or are there any gaps? That suggests that the PRs don't have exactly the same coverage. Are there other behaviors covered in Marcus's PR that are not covered in this one, or that are needed?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, I tried also. I took a look at Marcus's, so I tried to cover everything that was there and also fix what was missing there.
So the stage, I think, doesn't, we should just do it if it's going to get this resolved. It's been too long outstanding. I think we can focus on other new areas, Marcus. If we want to focus on, for example, ProCap bucket keys, we can clear the deck to do that.
Yeah, plenty of other things to keep me busy.
I mean, our downstream need to revalidate isn't a big deal. Well, we have downstream testing, and we can contribute. Maybe we can contribute downstream testing to this PR and get it. If it's that's helpful to get it merged.
Okay. I do remember our previous discussions on this. We did agree to defer the multi-site re-encrypt piece of CNA's, and I think we also kind of did an audit of the fixes in Marcus's that to make sure that CNA's was covering everything. So my recollection of that is that we should be good. So my feeling is that if CNA's PR is passing the S3 tests, assuming that everything is freshly rebased, then we should just merge that and we can follow up with downstream testing on downstream's timeline.
Whatever you would prefer. I'd like to see the multi-site stuff merge quickly so we don't have a half solution there.
Do these multi-site fixes exist?
It's a second
Yes,
PR.
it does.
Is that the case?
I can share it again. I need to just find it quickly. I shared it in the chat. I can put it in the agenda as well.
I mean, if they exist, I don't see any reason not to push them all out. I don't see any reason to stage things out that way.
Sina, can you remind me which case this multi-site part is? Is this specific to sync policy that copies or replicates between buckets with different SSE configuration?
No, actually, we had some different views on how actually this needs to be done. I mean, I can again just briefly discuss what problem at the moment multi-site suffers from encrypted object copies, which is at the moment it just encrypts with the bucket key that is for the other region, other zone. So what we need to do is to decrypt it first and encrypt it with the destination bucket, which might be a different bucket than the source. So user idea was we should decrypt and encrypt in the source and then bring it away. My implementation was we decrypted in the source and then encrypted in the destination. So we kind of like offloaded. Then for your idea to move forward, we needed to have the first PR actually merged because we needed to use that pipe implementation to decrypt and encrypt at the same time while streaming the data and then send it over. But mine was just irrelevant. Decryption was there, and then encryption was on the destination. So that was a trade-off.
But are there cases outside of bucket replication policy, like just the default replication for disaster recovery in the same bucket that also need to re-encrypt?
That no, because the bucket would stay the same, so bucket key would also stay the same. So encryption, re-encryption doesn't make sense. Actually, the PR also has introduced a parameter that we don't re-encrypt those cases. So only re-encrypt when the destination bucket is different from the source.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify how important this functionality is. It
Yes.
sounds like it doesn't affect default replication, and so doesn't necessarily need to be a blocker, but I agree we should
That's
follow
true.
up on it.
Yes.
But what should we do as the first next steps here? Just get Cena's PR rebased and try to get it through QA?
Not sure what the question is, Casey. Could
Yes?
you repeat the question? I don't know if
I'm just trying to get consensus on next steps. Is it just testing Cena's PR and making sure that it still validates in QA?
that would seem like the consensus to me.
Yeah, I can't say I'm thrilled about this because it sounds like both Cena and I have missing features.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, okay. How do we resolve that? I mean, are they missing features that can we enumerate them? Are they the same missing features, or do they have?
It sounds like Cena is missing some things with multi-site replication. I'm missing some things with I think attributes returned by the various calls, if I remember right.
Well, but if that's the case, then the Cena's base PR is more advanced. But then I don't know if.
Well, it
Are you
sounds
saying that
like
the
Cena
second PR
has,
that I mean we haven't really reviewed it, but I mean they used.
I think it sounds to me like Cena has cleaner code, but it hasn't endured real life experience yet.
Well, that's just the way it goes. I mean, but I mean, in terms of the multi-site piece, I would maybe we can review Zena's PR and a second PR that deals with multi-site, and try to identify anything that it lacks that we know about. So we're ready for that round.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a path forward, and I'm good with the path forward.
I mean, we'll just have to. Anyway, I would vote in favor of that, Casey.
Okay. And Marcus, I'm certainly sensitive to kind of routing around you. I would have loved to merge this like a year ago.
Yeah. Well, if we were willing to take in pieces, it could have happened, but we weren't.
I'm not sure, it's a little more complicated, but you and I can discuss it offline. But I mean, we can't leave the upstream in the situation it's in now.
Yeah, no, I agree about that.
Marcus, on your point about multi-site, are you aware of anything that your PR does that his isn't? Because the follow-up PR that
don't.
you mentioned was separate.
No, it's just when I asked the question of whether multi-site was covered, it sounded like there were some cases that weren't.
Okay.
That's totally what I'm coming off of here. I do know that when I was going through and thinking about whether I could avoid doing re-encryption, I found fewer and fewer cases where I felt comfortable with that. But it also sounds like CNA's had more time to think about those cases, and so that's good.
Okay. Final thoughts on this? Thanks, Boris, for re-raising it. Okay, moving on in the agenda from Matt.
Just additional information there.
Is on the AES GCM piece, is that something that AWS does, or would that be?
They shift.
an
They
exposed for
yeah. It
RGW?
is. They've shifted to that. There is at least one place where there's possibly relevant alignment. This would be related to doing we're using some kind of MD5 checksum somewhere where they use in a different HMAC that there's a standard one. I didn't pick up on what the details of that, but this is mainly from our point of view, this is mainly a performance improvement. I don't think it increases AWS interop, but the impact on performance could be significant. Marcus was in this meeting with the line folks who are going to sort of contribute this.
Exciting. All right, then. We've reached the end of the agenda. Anything else before we call it?
Actually, I have two questions. I was reading the C++20 coroutine code lately, and actually I was confused by a bit by two things. The first one is like I found some code has been merged, but it's not being used. I'm not sure I understand if there's compelling reason to do so. And the second one is like, I look at those PRs for metadata sync, like which adopting the coroutines. I found like some PRs merge into other PRs, and those PRs has been closed due to like lack of activity, something like a lot of PRs floating there. Actually, I was really confused which one is the one that somebody is actively working on and which one I should look. I wonder if I get some more clearer information on that.
Okay, yeah, there were a couple different threads relating to C++20 coroutines. One of them was that we were exploring it as a prototype for metadata sync, and I don't think that has seen much movement since. The other thread was in Adam's data log work, which does adapt the new coroutines and might be using some of the new algorithms in common async.
Yeah. We are using some of them. I think we're using I think the only one we're using right now is 4H.
There's some of those code actually I was confused and look at it. For example, a quick example in the FIFO.h in new redos, I thought I see some like bugs, but I'm like just confused if it has never been caught. But so I'm not very sure if it's a real bug or not. But I look at the code, so it seems nobody is using that. Like it's not being used anywhere. There's no test cases, something like that.
Life is short.
What are you talking? I mean, we have. If you're talking about FIFO, we have test cases for the FIFO.
Okay, I'll probably I'll send you the link afterward, offline too. Just
Yeah, send me
maybe.
the link and I'll certainly look into it. I mean, I'm more than happy to take bug reports.
Okay. So yeah. So actually, the confusing part is like why we merging a code that it's not being used. I do search, did a search or something.
Oh, because we had a version, because the original code was working fine on the newer versions of GCC, and it wouldn't compile under GCC 11. So I wrote a version that would have compile under GCC 11.
Okay.
And if def out the stuff that wouldn't compile under GCC 11.
Oh yeah. I do see some like comments over there. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, Adam, like I sent you a link so to understand if that's a real bug or not.
Okay.
Like offline. Yeah.
All right.
And data sync, I think that part is fine because like the PR has been merged. But metadata sync, the part is really confused me. I don't know which PRs are active. And Casey, if you like, so if some of those closed PRs are really like still need to be working on or active, like, can you please reopen it so that at least I know, like I don't read something like is out of date and mean to be discarded.
Yeah, I was trying to maintain kind of a feature branch for the metadata sync prototype. If that's closed, I'm pretty sure it has, I will reopen.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, I don't think it's active, but if you're interested in pushing that forward, I would love to help.
Okay, sounds good. I'll reach to you.
Okay, and I'll dig up that old PR. Here it is. I think it's still open, but a draft.
Oh, this is the active one. Okay.
I can find time to do a rebase just to make sure that it's still current.
Okay.
Just for general information, which parts of the multi-site syncing did we move to the modern coroutines?
Technically none yet. Adam did change the data log, which we write on the ingest side to use some C++ 20 coroutines. So it relates to multi-site, but is not multi-site sync code. We were just exploring metadata sync as a kind of simple place to prototype a new style. None of that has been integrated or merged.
Okay, so what was the data log using before the C++ 20 coroutines? Which kind of coroutines? The Israel ones or the the one that are used in the other multi-site code?
I want to say it was just using a separate thread with condition variables, Adam.
Sorry, what were you saying? Or what was I didn't hear the question.
So the question was, in the data log where the C++ 20 coroutines are being used, what was it replacing? Which kind of framework was it replacing?
Oh, partly blocking, partly a separate thread.
Oh, okay, understand.
Like a lot of our calls were simply blocking with, and some of our other calls were optional yield. But due to one bug, we actually had to make one thing hard blocking. I forget what the bug was, but yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Jane, thanks for fixing the co-throttle bug that you did. That one does have unit tests, but did not cover the multiple cancellation. So I've been meaning to update that test case.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Anything else for the call? Okay, thanks everybody.
Thank you.